and is yet with us today as we record in November of 1989. Our man for today, Frank Bobzin, has been son, brother, husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. Frank was born on March 28, 1898, in Green Garden Township, just south of the village of Frankfort, Illinois. When Frank was 13 years old, he went to confirmation school in Frankfort for an entire school year. The class was taught to read and write in German. In 1912, Frank was confirmed at the St. Peter's Evangelical Church at Frankfort. The family held membership in St. John's Church in Green Garden Township. Frank returned to the Miller School in the country near his home for another 2 years, until at the age of 16, his father told him he needed Frank to help the next day with the farm work. Frank never returned to school. He continued to work with his brothers and fathers on the family farm. In his early 20s, Frank met a girl named Clara Werner at a dance. The first Christmas they were going together, Frank bought Clara an imitation ivory dresser set with hand mirror, brush, comb, and a couple of extra pieces too. The druggist told Frank that the set had already been sold, but when Frank offered $10 instead of the asking price of $9, the druggist let him have it. Frank and Clara were married on May 14, 1925, at the parsonage of the St. Paul's Evangelical Church in Manhattan, Illinois. After the ceremony, the couple went to Joliet to have their wedding picture taken. It was in June of the following year that Frank and Clara's son was born, but he did not survive. With a heavy heart, Frank put the tiny white casket on the seat of his car and drove to the cemetery. Frank is in the back row, second to the left, on this photo of the Bobzin family. Their parents, John H. Bobzin, and mother Sophie, whose maiden name was Hawkey Bobzin, are seated in the front row. His youngest sister, Elda, is to the left of Frank. And beside Frank on the right, from left to right, are his brothers George and Charlie, and sister Millie. This photo was taken some years after the death of brother Henry, who died when he was 24 years old. Here Frank is years later, with his brothers George and Charlie. And this is Frank's sister Elda with him on his 90th birthday. By the time Frank entered the first months of the 1940s, Clara and Frank were the parents of 3 daughters born over a 12-year period. Elaine, born in 1928, Marilyn in 1934, and Doris in 1940. Everyone was so happy when little Michael, Frank and Clara's first grandchild, was born to daughter Elaine and her husband, Joe Jung. Here's Michael in 1961 with the other Jung children, Joey, Francine, Susan, and Richard. Also pictured are Frank's daughter Marilyn and son Bill Boyle's 2 children, Johnny and Mark. By 1965, over a period of 8 years, Frank's 3 daughters gave birth to 12 children. Our beloved Michael died at the age of 5 years of cancer in 1962. You can see in the front row new additions to the family over the past 4 years. There's 2 more Jungs, Marilyn and Tom. And daughter Doris and her husband Ted Glidden have produced Cindy, Missy, and Bobby Glidden. 1 more grandchildren was yet to arrive. David Jung was born in 1967. It was in 1965 that Frank's daughters planned for the 40th anniversary celebration of their parents' marriage. Many relatives and friends gathered at the Sportsman Hall in Manhattan. The family was all glad that they had celebrated the anniversary because in 1973, Clara died. It was a difficult time for Frank when he was left to live alone. Frank often wonders what he would have done if it had not been for Dorothy Wallhauser, whose companionship meant the world and all to Frank for all the years after Clara died. Frank's right hand proved to be his daughter Marilyn, pictured here with Doris, Elaine, and Frank. Here are Frank's daughters with their husbands, Elaine and Joe Jung on the left, Doris and Ted Glidden behind Frank, and Marilyn and Bill Boyle on the right. Frank's grandson, John Boyle, came home from California to help Frank celebrate his 89th birthday at Jardines in Tinley Park. Left to right in the back row and standing are Mark Boyle, Tom Jung, Francine Venegas, and David Jung. Seated in the middle row are left to right Melissa Glidden Richardson, Marilyn Jung Basenfelder, Cindy Glidden, Richard Jung, and John Boyle beside his grandpa. Susan Jung LaMonica is seated at the very front of the photo. John Boyle is missing in the photo of Frank's 90th birthday, but two of his grandsons, unable to be with Grandpa Bobzin on his 89th birthday, are present in this photo. That's Bob Glidden and Joe Jung standing second and third on the left. And by 1988, Frank has become great-grandpa to 6 children. Elaine is holding her granddaughter Emily Ann Jung. Great-grandpa is holding Kevin LaMonica, while Michael Venegas holds Joey Rutkowski. Tara Venegas is behind the smiling PJ Rutkowski. If Frank was to do his life over again, he often says he really wouldn't do things any different. He enjoyed playing cards. Frank enjoyed taking a rest when he was tired. And Frank enjoyed asking people how old they thought he was. The answer would more than likely be 75, because on his 90th... You give us a sign when you do.
We are.
Oh, we started? Okay.
How long will it last?
Well, we don't know that yet. As patient as you'll be, okay? See for yourself, folks. Does he look like he's 75? I'm Doris Glidden.
Maybe I shouldn't be sitting back like this.
And I'm seated here with Dad in his living room at 235 Morgan Court in Manhattan. I know you all enjoyed the photo sequence that you just saw. And even more, you will appreciate the visit in person between Frank Bobzin and me. Dad, what do you think of today's weather?
It's nice.
Did you go out yet?
No.
No? You told me that I think you went out yesterday. What did you do yesterday? Or was that Thursday?
Yeah, last time we went out for fish.
Oh, yeah. Where did you go for that?
Is that all being televised now?
Well, it might. Yeah.
Yes, it's okay.
Yeah, just let it go. Yeah. Where did you go for fish?
I don't even know. We went over on Chicago Street.
Yeah.
I don't know what the place is called.
That's Stone City, American
Yeah.
Legion Post, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. And, but when was it that you said you went and got a haircut? Was that Thursday morning?
I guess it's Friday.
Or was it yesterday morning? Yeah.
Yesterday.
I guess I talked to you on the telephone in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I think it's a nicer day today, really, than it was yesterday. It's November, what is today, November 4th?
Fourth.
Yeah, 1989. What did you have for lunch today?
Not very much.
Oh, you're kind of looking forward maybe to supper.
No, I don't feel good.
I see. Well, I made some barbecues this morning, and I made potato salad, and I got some fresh Jell-O, and I'm going to make some scalloped corn. So I hope that you maybe enjoy some of that. Dad, this tape is being made so that after you're gone, and by the way, how old are you today?
Today, my birthday isn't today.
Yeah, but you still.
I'm 91 years old, born in 1898.
On what day?
28th of March.
So that means you're past the halfway mark, aren't you? Did you pass that in September or was it October? September, okay. So you're about 7 months plus after your 91st birthday. After you're gone, we'd like for your great-great-grandchildren to be able to get to know you in this way. You've been written about in a couple of books, haven't you? I have here that I'm holding a book called A Piece of Life's Puzzle about the Bobzin family. And it was published in 1987. And next year, Ted and I are going to publish a book called Chicago about your mother's side of the family. Your mother's maiden name was what?
I don't know middle name.
Her maiden name, I said.
Sophie Hockey.
Hockey, that's right. This will be about the Hockeys.
I don't know if she had a middle name or not.
Are you looking forward to reading it? You think, you know, if I give you one that you'd thumb through it?
I presume I will.
Okay.
Why I wouldn't?
You know, you've been an awful big help to me in preparing these books. The way you can remember things. Can you think of anything that happened many years ago around this time? You know, Tuesday when I was here, you were telling me a few things that would happen around November 4th or November 6th.
Well, on November 3rd, 1915, George Knapp and Cassie Knapp got married.
Oh, really?
November 3rd, 1915.
And were you there for that wedding, or
No, I wasn't.
did they go to the parsonage, do you think?
I presume.
Yeah.
I don't even know where they went. Where it was, I expect it was Manhattan.
And I guess you didn't even know Clara then, did you?
No, I didn't.
No, you were only about
At 1915.
17 yourself at that time. Yeah, but then who else did you tell me about something happening? Who was it that got, oh boy, Liddy Bettenhausen? Was that something about Liddy Bettenhausen, did you tell me, or? I know you told me a couple of things.
That'll be in.
Sure, it's all being recorded. We're just sitting here visiting. I'm supposed to jump now to another page. Now let me see. I guess I want to go to page 3 at this point. And I was going to ask how your house was heated when you were a boy.